Pets Add Life, your guide to the latest in pet trends, products, and the joy of the human-animal bond, with Kristen Levine and Chris Bonifati, powered by the American Pet Products Association and Dog TV.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pets Add Life. I am one of your hosts, Chris Bonifati, and joining me from the jungles of Costa Rica is Kristen Levine. Kristen, how are we doing today?
Oh man, it's hot and muggy here.
Yeah, I'm jealous. What a great getaway to just, be macheting and biovacking your way through the jungles of Costa Rica, but still having the time to sit down and do a whole podcast for our wonderful listeners.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out with the monkeys here and glad to be doing the show from down here. So that's so weird. Why did you pick Costa Rica?
I just thought I'm thinking warm thoughts. It's December.
It's December. Oh, okay, that's why. All right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get out of it's like the first real cold days have hit. Oh. And now I'm trying to be warm. Jungles of Costa Rica sounds nice with all the monkeys. And do they have jaguars? I think they have jaguars. I don't think they have panthers.
I haven't seen one yet.
Nonetheless, let's move on away from Chris's couch and into the Pal Story Corner.
Kristen and Chris present Story Time.
So, Chris, why don't you go first with your story this week?
I will. I was going through the news and I'm pulling up, I believe it was just New York Times that covered this. And I kind of like these sections of the New York Times where they kind of just do like a little profile on a New Yorker, just like an average Joe type thing and their story. And they were interviewing this guy named Abdul Rahim, who has fostered hundreds of kittens. And it's something he started doing during the pandemic. And I just thought it was such a great little interview and really goes to show how much effort goes into fostering the kittens. So for those of you who don't know, if you're getting a kitten, you're going to the shelter or you're going to a pet store and you're getting a kitten, that kitten has already been raised by either a mama cat or by a person. And in a lot of situations, it is a person, as in nature, mama cats, while we all like to think of them as smart, capable, and willing, they aren't always. They are not always. And sometimes they either can't produce enough milk or they're too tired and they lack the nutrients to be able to nurse properly. So there are a lot of people out there who are fostering kittens. And kittens are tough. In the interview, Abdul talks about the commitment, and he says it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, constantly being woken up, constantly having to do feedings. It's like an infant, every 3 hours having to do bottle feeding for the cats. He talks a little bit about the origins and how he got roped into it. And as always, they thought about fostering one cat, fostered the cat became a forever cat. And then now they've done hundreds in the New York area. So I just thought it was a cool little profile. If you are the type of person who doesn't really need sleep and doesn't value their sanity, go for it.
You got to be young to do that, I think.
All right, Kristen, what's your story for this week?
Oh, okay. So mine's a little more serious. I read this in the Wolf newsletter, which is actually a pet industry newsletter, but it's got a lot of really interesting pet news in it. And this was about pet prenups on the rise. So a growing number of couples are including a detailed pet provision, like, who keeps the dog or the cat, what kind of shared custody, who pays for vet bills, in their prenups or in their postnup agreements. So, unfortunately, the legal landscape is starting to evolve, where a lot of states are now directing the courts to consider the pet's best interest in terms of like custody or what have you, rather than just treating them as property. So, and as an example, in Pennsylvania, a new bill, HB 97, would categorize companion animals as a special category of personal property and allow joint possession arrangements for pets in divorce situations. So, I mean, we all know pets are not assets, they're family. So I think it's pretty cool that people are prenups and postnups, not a fun thing to talk about, but the fact that people are being, thoughtful about what would happen to their pets if things didn't work out, I think that's a good thing for the animals. So
I also think it's a good thing to bring up prenups. You just bring it up and tank your relationship.
exactly,
Just nuke it.
exactly.
Just absolutely blow the whole thing up right at the end, like right after you propose. You should say, "Will you marry me?" And then they'll say yes. And then you say, "Can you look at this prenup, please? Have your
Right.
lawyers call my lawyers." There's nothing more romantic than having the lawyers chat.
And clearly, you and Hope do not have a prenup or a postnup.
I don't think I knew what a prenup was when although in hindsight, no, I'm only no, we don't have. There's the only document we ever signed was our marriage license, and even then we were unaware that we had to sign a piece of paper. So
Beyond the Leash, exploring the untold stories of pet passion and professionalism.
I am so excited to introduce this guest. He's an old friend, and we go back so far that Chris was probably an infant when we met. That's how old we are. Eric Unler
I'm still
is
an
the
infant,
founder.
so
Eric is the founder and the president of Super Pet Expo, the nation's largest consumer pet shopping experience, and it's held every year in Edison, New Jersey. Now, Eric is based in Rockville, Maryland, and he leads All Show Services, which is the event production company that's behind Super Pet Expo and other big consumer shows. Now, under Eric's leadership, Super Pet Expo has grown into more than just a trade show. It is a destination for families, pet parents, and animals alike, offering really cool interactive experiences like dog agility demos, large-scale ball pits, and if you don't know what that is, stick around, for dogs, influencer appearances, and hands-on opportunities for the public to engage with pets and pet industry innovations. Also, in 2023, Eric was honored as the Outstanding Show Pro by Trade Show News Network for his awesome Super Pet Expo. Welcome, Eric.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Now, I've been to some of your shows. It's been a while. I need to get back there. But let's talk a little bit about the fact that you launched Super Pet Expo. What year did you say?
It all started in 2001, and it started really just with a dream of like, how can we bring pet lovers together? Because in my world, and I think in your world too, pet lovers are cool people. They're the kind of people I want to run with.
Right? Exactly. Well, and so you had an original vision, but how would you say your original vision has evolved into today's show?
I think what I've noticed is a dramatic shift with pet owners over the years. And what started out as a dream to create a pet shopping extravaganza, everything for every pet owner, has turned into an entertainment extravaganza. And, we've got, celebrities at the show, dog trainers, celebrity pups, pet influencers that have, 7 to 15 million followers. And when I started with all this, it was just about bringing, pet lovers together, quite frankly, bringing buyers and sellers together, right? That's what we do when we produce events. And it's really evolved into a destination, and we have this cult-like following of people that come year after year. And it's a great pressure to have on my shoulders to create something. Okay, what am I going to do now to wow them?
Right.
What's the next in terms of that wow?
yeah, and talking about that wow factor, I think one of the really cool things your show does is it's almost like you've developed the programming for like with pets in mind, right? Like it's not just all people stuff. So why don't you talk about some of the new, exciting, and then also the tried and true pet friendly features that are going to be at Super Pet Expo this year?
Sure. So we look at it with our dogs or our cats or whatever you own, whatever pet you own, you love them, right? And I'll be honest with you, I'd rather hang out with my pet than most people I know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the hardcore pet owners are just like me. And I see that by talking to them, engaging with them. And so one of the things I wanted to do was, you have entertainment at the show. We've got, as you mentioned, Chris, cool features. We've got dog agility shows. We'll have a Tika cat show. We'll how to get your pet into show business with Dawn Wolf, a famous animal talent agent. We'll do microchipping and those fun things. We'll have birds. We'll have an animal communicator. But ultimately, what I think really changed our trajectory was 7 years ago. I started to think about, okay, it's cool to see a dog show. It's cool to see, like on Dog TV, they have the dog moms. Amber and Chrissy Joy, they've been performing at our shows for years, and I think it's really cool to see dogs do amazing things. But my favorite dog is my dog, and your favorite dog is your dog. And there's no better dog out there than your dog or my dog, right? And that's how we all feel. I've got the coolest dog. So I started to look for ways to create engagement and enrichment for pets. And and I traveled all over the world. I love sharing the story with you, but I hired somebody to do lure coursing for me. And in case for the people out there that don't know about lure coursing, it's a game of capture the flag for dogs. And I started to look into it, and we tested it out one year. Would people come to the show? Would they want to participate in a lure course? Would their dogs want to do it? And that's more of a participation sport. And it took off. It was amazing to see how many pet owners, that's where your dog's the star of the show. And so we partnered with a company called Luring 101, and they provide lure coursing all around the country. And they offer lure coursing at our shows. So that's where your dog's the star of the show. It's going around a course chasing a simulated bunny tail.
Yeah.
Like it's just
for
like
them.
It's just like dogs doing greyhound racing, right?
Although I heard if I slip you a $20 bill, you'll let me on the course.
Oh, no, actually for you, Chris, it would be free. We don't charge for and anybody that's been involved in shows know that you have to be careful to fire marshal and follow rules. So they were using bales of hay to surround the dog ball pit, and we had to come up with something that wasn't so flammable. And now we have a dog ball pit that's 15 by 15. It's got 5,000 balls in there, and it runs concurrent all day long. And imagine a kid going into a ball pit at preschool. Well, now a dog gets in there, and the dog's like, oh my God, it's ball overload. What am I getting into? This is fun. And it's not a real long excitement time. It's about 45 seconds to a minute that dog is like happy. He's in his element. I've got all these balls. And then he's looking at you with that deer in the headlights look. Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom. What's next?
Right.
So we're creating enrichment and exercise activities for dogs at the show. We also have a doggy derby, which is, a takeoff on dachshund racing. And it's for all dogs, not just dachshunds, not just corgis, but for mixed breeds too. So we have engagement and enrichment activities that put smiles on pet owners' faces. And truth be told, there's nothing better than seeing a happy dog. I mean, you come home at the end of the day. And
it's sort of like an amusement park for dogs. In a way.
Yeah, an amusement park on steroids, because there's so much stimulation coming through. And
True.
And you look at the big trade shows out there, such as Global Pet Expo, and that's where people in the trade go. But what are the hardcore pet lovers in this world? What do they do for a weekend of fun?
Yeah.
And that's what we've tried to create.
And I'm so glad we have you on the show today, because I often tell my friends and family about how awesome Global Pet Expo is, and then they want to know why they can't come. So, your show is the answer.
You throw Chris under the bus and say it's all his fault.
No, but I wanted to ask you, Eric, animals at events, obviously are a lot of fun, but they also can pose some unique challenges, everything from like logistics to safety to stress. So how does Super Pet Expo ensure that, the pets are comfortable, ensure that, everybody's having fun, including the dogs?
It's a great question. We've been very fortunate, and to say that we have never had a major incident with pets at our show is something we're really proud of. At any pet event you go to, whether it's the local hardware store you bring your dog with you, or it's the local pet meetup, or it's at the dog park or the doggy daycare, there's an inherent risk there, right? So if your dog's not good around other dogs, don't bring them to Super Pet Expo. Give them a comfort level to get them there. But our team is all prepared for that. And so there's a number of logistical things, but first and foremost, it starts with educating the staff. And we look for dogs that are aggressive, and some dogs that, if we see them walk into the lobby of the convention center and they're lunging, they're having some anxiety. It doesn't mean they're a bad dog, but maybe they're just not comfortable in that environment. But it's rare we see that. And we also see like bringing all these dogs together. It doesn't matter what kind of dog they are. A friendly dog is a friendly dog. And pet owners, I've said this before, I'll say it again, they're the coolest people on the planet. They're the people I want to hang with. And so if somebody has an aggressive dog or a dog that's not so good in front of people, generally they don't bring it to the show. But one of the fun parts of our show that I love talking about is we have 4 full-time pooper scoopers at every show. And I'll share the quick story. I was talking to my kids, and they're young, and they're all looking forward to working at Super Pet Expo, whether it's being a ticket taker or whatever. And so I made a list of the jobs that they could have, and they said, "Oh, no, Dad, we're not doing pooper scooping." And then I explained to them, they said, "Well, how do we get paid?" And I explained how they get paid and that the pooper scoopers get a $50 bonus for each show. And they both said, "Dad, I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in.
So I'm
That's
teaching
great.
them young to be motivated by a paycheck.
Yep, everyone's got a price, right? Everyone's got a price.
I love Todd. That's my line. You're stealing it, Chris.
Yep. Well, before we let you go, I want to ask you one more question. And, we've got a lot of listeners who may be interested in attending, and it might be their first time attending an event like this. And as somebody who does, Global Pet Expo every single year and does a bunch of trade shows, these things can be incredibly overwhelming. It could be a lot. It's oftentimes the biggest event that anybody's ever been to, especially for your first timer. So for those out there who may be listening, interested in coming, and it's going to be their first time, what tips do you have for them to make it as enjoyable as possible and ease all their anxieties away?
That's a great question. Look, we're a place where there's a lot of people, there's a lot of animals. It can create a lot of stress, right? So, what I recommend is take your dog on a walk before you come to the show, because that's just going to take the stress away from the dog or the animal, whatever it is. We have people bring dogs, cats, birds. I'm struggling for the name. What's the Fruit Loops bird that's on the Fruit Loops?
Macaw? Is that a macaw?
No, it's not a macaw. No. It'll come to me.
A toucan.
Toucan Sam. Thank you.
There
We have a guy that comes to the show every year with a toucan, and it's like the hit of the show. But what do you do to prepare? You got to go in there and you have to make sure your dog's already been on a walk, okay? Because that's going to take the pressure off. And there's so many activities for dogs to do that instantly when they get in there, they're going to meet other pet owners. They're going to gravitate towards other dogs. We have a great thing we created called a paw prints booth, right? And when you think about taking a dog's paw and you have their hand and you dip it in a paint and then you create a paw print, that's a ton of fun, and dogs like it, and that gives you a great memory of your dog right there that you can take home, and we don't even charge extra for it. But when you visit superpetexpo.com, you can see all the different features. I just scratched the surface here. We have a pet fashion show called the Celebrity Catwalk. Has nothing to do with cats. It's all about dogs dressing up and pet owners dressing up like their dogs. We have a reptile section. Last year, we had a real fun thing. We had the world's smallest dog at the show. The dog could fit inside of a men's tennis sneaker. We have a cat show. So there's something for everyone at Super Pet Expo. And one of our biggest hits, we did it last year for the first time, and we're bringing it back this year, is we're doing a pet influencer panel. How do these people get 7 million followers? How does that happen? Well, we all know that it's the power of social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. People love seeing videos and pictures of dogs.
That's going to be a busy session for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Eric,
and it's a lot of fun.
Sorry. I just want you to remind us what the date is for this next show and the location.
So we're coming up in just about a month, January 9th through 11th. We're in Edison, New Jersey. It's just north central New Jersey. It's easy to get to. We have people that come from up to 3 or 4 hours away, and you can find all the details on superpetexpo.com.
Fantastic. Well, Eric, it's great to see you again, and I'm so glad that you are still doing what you do best, and you're just such a great showman. And pets and people are all the better for it.
Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be with you guys today.
Yep, we'll see you in Edison.
You got it. Take care, guys.
It really is a fun show. And
Yeah, I feel like I need to make the trip. Edison is about like 2.5 hours from me.
yeah.
I don't have a dog. I have a baby.
Yeah, well,
It's like some things fit, some things don't. Giant ball pit sounds real nice.
it does, right?
Giant ball pit sounds real
How about
nice.
I go on your behalf?
Yes, on my behalf. But that means you have to do the dog agility course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to chase the bunny.
Chase
tail.
the bunny. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I was going to do it in high heels too, so.
That's a good excuse for me to buy some new sneakers. So I'll do it.
There we go. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Michael Hill, the owner and lead trainer of Michael Hill Dog Training in Los Angeles, where he specializes in personalized, relationship-based dog training programs for family pets, working dogs, and show dogs alike. With experience working internationally across Canada, the UK, Mexico, and more, Michael brings a global perspective to the human-canine bond. He's certified as an AKC Canine Good Citizen Evaluator and is a member of the Association of Professional Dog Trainers, while also bringing media experience via appearances on Good Day DC, NBC California Live, and more. Michael's philosophy centers on communication, behavior, and enrichment, helping owners and dogs thrive together by understanding each other and building clear, enjoyable routines. Michael, thank you so much for taking some time out of your very busy schedule to join us today.
It is absolutely my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start with sort of your motto there and that emphasis on communication, which I think a lot of people are going to have different definitions on what it means to communicate with your dog. So beyond commands, what is communication and how does this mindset shape successful training?
I love that question. I think for me, there has always been kind of met with as a dog trainer, that means commands, and that's how you teach your dogs to do things for you. But for all of us, dogs are a member of our family. And so for the people who we love as humans, we invest our time and our, experience with them in understanding how they work, what things matter to them. That kind of nonverbal communication is really impactful in our human relationships, but that's really the foundation for every dog relationship. So for most of my clients, I'm being called in to help them better enjoy life with a dog or add a dog to their life. But the takeaway is they want to have all the benefits of dog as a family member in their home. So I try to help whatever the specific family relationship scenario looks like and break that down into ways where we can better understand both what you internally are feeling and maybe responding to, and also what's going on with your dog, so that we can kind of get past so many of those miscommunications that I think are the foundation for any problem somebody's running up against.
Yeah. And, speaking of those family relationships and how they differ, you work with a lot of different types of dogs, right? Just regular family pet dogs, show dogs, working dogs. So how do you adapt your approach depending on the dog's role, or are the approaches the same? And what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think there is definitely a foundational component that is always the same. Every dog has their basic needs that have to be there in order to achieve any goal. However, based on those specific, kind of expectations, if a dog is expected to perform on a set, there's a lot more distractions and a lot more challenges than the average family dog. So I think they all start with the same place, but then there is a little bit more of an investment and a requirement in the dog that might be a show dog who is going to be traveling and on the road and around strangers and in these kind of high stress environments, and finding a way to not only just get them through it, but to maintain long term, thriving in that kind of environment where the dog not only is performing, but enjoying the performance,
Enjoying
and
it.
it's
Yeah.
adding to their life, not taking away from it.
Yeah. And, in your one of your video series, Life with Dogs, you talk a lot about this concept of resilience and mental health for dogs. And, as a elder millennial male, I'm just beginning to talk about my own mental health. I don't know if I'm ready to start thinking about my dog's mental health. So can you share what does that mean? What's resilience mean? How can owners at home support their dog's mental health?
I think most of us are kind of in a position in life where we're starting to see that with change, we are kind of either faced with an opportunity to panic and give up or problem solve and evolve. And I think that's hardwired in nature. And although it might be uncomfortable at first, I think it really enriches and adds to both our human and the dog's lives. So, for my experience as a human, I think the more that we are challenging ourselves and growing, we are able to then be able to unlock more experiences and do more with our lives. I think the same thing applies with a dog. So even though a dog might like routine and they do need stability, they do need a secure attachment, sometimes I think we might cut our dog short by not giving them the chance to embrace manageable discomfort and learn how to accomplish problem solving skill sets that not only help them mentally and emotionally, but also physically in the long run as well.
Yeah. Michael, we have this segment in our show where we answer 2 listener questions, and a lot of time we see some of the same questions coming up time and time again. So for example, people that have dogs have a common issue of either leash pulling or jumping or inappropriate barking, separation anxiety. So when you're working with a new client, the first time you meet with them and their dog, what are some of the first things that you assess before you build that training plan?
Yes, I think when I'm coming into a home, I'm really not rushing into fixing the problem in that first meeting. Sometimes that's the expectation. But at the
Yeah.
beginning, I like to kind of remind people like we don't know each other. I don't know anything about you or your
Right.
dog. If I'm going to be helpful here, the more information I have, the better. So I want to find out as much background information about the dog specifically, any experiences or training attempts, that we've done either independently or with somebody else, not for judgment, but for understanding kind of what has worked and what hasn't. And then I'm also really trying to understand the humans and their perceptions of their dog, their expectations of what is normal. There are so many differences on what somebody thinks a dog should or shouldn't do in their home. And the reality is we do have the ability to decide what we want our dog to be able to do and not do in our home. But we also kind of have to layer that in with your dog's needs and learning styles, and also just your individual kind of talent as somebody working with dogs. I think dog training is both art and science, where there are fundamental, concepts that are essential, but there is also a little bit of an art form, kind of like a musician who has the theory, but then also has that sense and maybe that inner kind of talent that's naturally there. So we want to look at in that home, which of those areas can I motivate and can I activate on both the dog and the human to start building in some progress. So rather than looking at fixing the issue from the beginning, what I want to break down is for this specific home and family, how can I set up a manageable kind of working area where we are mostly succeeding with challenge on the day-to-day basis? Failures are inevitable. But if you are walking and your dog is dragging you the entire time you walk, or reacting the entire time you walk, or you're leaving them only once in a while and it's just mayhem when you leave them, then the ratio of success is not going to produce anything lasting. And so you're just kind of habituating failure. So if a dog is pulling on a walk, one of the things we might need to work on is just your basic technique of how you're communicating with your dog on a leash in a way that's clear, in a way that's fair, in a way that your dog is interested in working with. And that also might have to pare down the distraction. So even if you think your dog needs a ton of exercise, we might need to start with doing a little bit of a reset and working in your home or your yard, teaching the skill set before we're proofing it with those distractions. So there's a lot of variables that play into that. And that's where I don't think there's any one journey for a dog or a family. And I think that's really important to keep in mind, that it doesn't really matter what your end goal is, but we need to focus on today. Where is a productive place for me to put my focus and my work? And be okay with the fact that your dog's still a living thing and we might need to modify in real time.
Yeah, it seems like you're only half dog trainer and the other half is people trainer. Like, you really got to wrangle in. Yeah, you should have like an honorary psychology degree from some prestigious university. Yep. I could only imagine in LA the personalities that you deal with, I'm sure, are bright, vibrant, and very diverse. Yes. But speaking of such, LA, it's a busy place. There's a lot of people in Los Angeles, places like LA, Chicago, New York, these very busy environments where it can be challenging to own a dog. It's very distracting. It's not a lot of easy access to green space, and it might be difficult to walk at certain times of day or at night. So how do you approach this sort of urban lifestyle in your training, and how do you make sure dogs and people are set up for success in like a busy, high energy life?
I have always lived in urban environments, and what I realized from early on is that although there is real challenge there and it requires significant adaptation for our dogs, which we need to be aware of, it also has the potential to give them such a more enriching life. When you see a dog raised as a service dog, it might look kind of unnatural to raise them as a puppy with certain expectations and not kind of just letting them free and be a dog in some capacities. But when they get to that point where they can handle all the distractions and lead somebody who's visually impaired, they derive so much purpose and motivation from that. And I think that's why dogs can perform a skill set like that independently and consistently. So with pet dogs living in an urban environment, we want to be mindful of those challenges for sure. But that same kind of mentality of finding where we can be productive and starting there is key. So if a busy cafe is a challenge, don't force that part at the beginning. It might be worthwhile to get distance and give your dog time to acclimate at a manageable kind of distraction level. But the key is to have them normalize to that level of distraction. There is a little bit of being in these kind of environments, which is just based on desensitization. So you can practice all you want in the home. You have to get out into the world. But when you're getting out into the world, focus on an on-ramp. So working at the distance where your dog is mostly successful and then building from there, but making it a practice of everyday outings and continuing to push your dog to experience more of the city.
Yeah, and I love your kind of the theme is the on ramp and just taking it step by step and not having these unrealistic expectations for change.
I think that's how we work as people. If you want to work out at the gym, you can have this vision for what you want to do, but your muscles will only do so much. So if you keep pushing it to failure, you'll injure yourself.
True. So true. So Michael, this has been awesome. Where can we find you if we want to learn more about your training methods? And I think you offer a foundations course on your website. Is that right?
Yes, I have a kind of overall foundations course on my website that you can access on Vimeo. My website, Instagram, and TikTok are all Michael Hill Dog Training. So, the foundations course is there. And then on social media, I kind of post regular media and, instructional videos as well, too.
Excellent. Great. Fantastic.
We will be sure to check it out.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
You know what my takeaway is from that interview?
You should move to LA.
He is so good looking.
I was gonna say that is the most. I was gonna say during the intro, arguably the most handsome guest we've ever had on the show.
Kidding. I know when I was doing show prep, I'm like, who's this male model posing as a dog trainer?
It was tough. I felt like I had to be tabbed out during the interview, otherwise I was gonna get flush. Smart and handsome though, lots of really great tips, and he gives away a lot of freebies on the socials. So if you're struggling with your dog's behavior or you want to become sort of your own at-home dog trainer, check out that content at Michael Hill.
Hey, Chris, I found one thing you don't need a credit card for this holiday season.
That sounds amazing. What is it, Kristen? Tell me. I need to know.
It's the Dog TV app. Yes, that is right. Dog TV has an app. You just download it for free and you can watch all kinds of awesome content for your dog. Well, I shouldn't say you can watch it with your dog, or your dog can watch it. And you can also see all kinds of cool shows like ours on Pets Ed Life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, right now for the rest of the holiday season, you could head on over to the app. 2 hours of pause and relax stuff for your dog. There's some stuff on there for cats, or if you're looking for more shows like ours, you could check out all the human grade content on the other side of things. And if you're feeling like upgrading to the paid version of Dog TV to get access to all of their content through the holiday season, it is 50% off. So now is your chance. Don't wag your tail at this sales opportunity.
The product of the week.
It is time for our product of the week. And pay close attention, folks, because Christmas is coming up and these can be some great gift ideas for your pet owning loved one. So, Kristen, you want to kick this off?
Yeah, sure. And I'm excited about this one. I think I might have recommended this product last year at this time. And this is like the perfect week to purchase this product. It is the Dog Chew Advent Calendar by our friends at Himalayan. Now, obviously, Grayson already has his Advent Calendar from Disney, but they actually have Advent calendars for pets too. So Himalayan is the company that makes those dog chews that are made from cheese in Nepal. And basically, it's just, a countdown to Christmas. I think it has 12 days, not 25. So you don't have to start it right on December 1st. But it's just a great little way to have a daily moment with your pet during the holiday season and keep them looking forward to Advent calendar treat time. And it's also a good time to maybe use the treat as a training tool. Maybe you're having guests come over for the holidays and you want to work on your dog's manners. Use the Advent treat for that. Also, just so you know, Himalayan natural chews do not have any fillers or unnecessary additives. So they're super healthy and you can get it on Amazon for about $25.
Nice. Yeah, and when you get to the little nub, you can microwave it and it puffs out.
Oh yeah,
it's cool. Yeah,
exactly.
I love those things.
I was reading somewhere that you should soak it in water first, but I've always just put it in the microwave. Do you know anything about the soaking it in water first?
No, but I'm sure it's fine either way. I don't worry about that kind of nuance, I just don't get preoccupied in soaking my cheese puffs before I microwave it. I don't allow that. I don't allow that to stress me out. I've moved past that.
What is your product?
My product is not necessarily for folks in my neck of the woods this time of the year, but maybe more towards you, Kristen, and where my in-laws live in South Carolina. Dog walking season kind of doesn't end the way it does up here in the north, where dog walking becomes like dog sprinting and how quickly can we get this over with when it gets really cold. Right. But nonetheless, it does get rainy and crummy down south during the winter months and colder. And your dog may not be as comfortable, especially if they're short-haired and have a thinner coat, or if they're teeny. And I've talked about this brand a bunch before because I love their stuff and it's so good. It's like buy it for life quality from Rough Wear. Rough Wear. Oh, that's a real Rough Wear there, Chris. The only thing rough is Chris's speaking voice today. But this is their Sun Shower Dog Raincoat and Weather Jacket. So it's a little heftier than you might assume. It's more than a poncho. And it's collared at the top. Aww. So it goes up their neck, has an attachable little hood, a little spot. It goes all the way down their butt, has a little spot for their tail to come out. And it's not complicated to put on. It's all Velcro. You sort of just get them into the hug and get it around their stomach. It comes in a bunch of different colors, comes in a bunch of different sizes. It is just a great, if you're going to be taking one of those little hikes, and it's December, January, and around you, that usually means misty, cold, 50 degrees, just slightly miserable. And you've got like a short haired, maybe like a bully mix or something like that. This is a great little addition to keep them comfortable, especially if you like to do those longer walks in these cooler months. You want your dog to be nice and prepared. Or if you do, you live by a lake, and you do the colder, lakeside walks, and the dog is going to go splashing, or you do the beach in the colder months, and the dog is going to wind up splashing. You just want to make sure that they stay nice and warm and dry. So it's a great little product. MSRP right now for $65. Buy it. Do it.
I think I'm going to get one for Tulip because she has several sweaters, but when it's raining or drizzling or snowing, the sweater obviously can get wet.
Yeah.
She's one of those dogs that if she goes outside and she feels it hitting her fur, she doesn't want any part of it. So I think
well, they do make an extra small, so hopefully that fits.
All right, cool.
Q&As.
All right, Kristen, it's time.
Our favorite part, right?
Our favorite part of the show. That's right. We're going to answer 2 questions from our lovely audience. And I know what you're thinking. How do I get my question answered by Chris and Kristen? Well,
you're a mind reader.
Yeah, I am. I'm here. I can see into your brains through the radio waves. You're just going to head on over to petsaddlife.org/podcast. Scroll on down to the bottom of the page. And you'll see a little form where you could submit your question. Or if you're feeling as brave as somebody about to ask Mr. Michael Hill on a date, you can record a voice memo and you may hear your question played live on the show. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And our first question comes from Ben in Austin, Texas. Thank you, Ben, for your question. And Ben asks, my dog listens perfectly at home, but completely ignores me at the park or around other dogs. What's the best way to train him to focus when there are distractions everywhere? Kristen, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if we had a world-class dog trainer on the podcast to answer this question? And thankfully we do. Welcome back, Michael Hill, who has done us the honor of answering Ben's question. So, Michael, what do you think?
I'm here for you, Ben. So I think this is a really common question. And I think the first starting kind of mindset to have is dogs are usually going to gravitate to their own kind and species more than us. They love us, but that is their species. So if we're kind of wanting to bridge the gap a little bit and shift the dog's focus to us more so than the rest of their environment, what I like to do is start at the beginning with any dog where we make every situation just about our relationship first. So sometimes with socialization, people are instructed to go greet all the people and all the dogs, go to the dog park and have your dog have all the dog friends. And some dogs can handle that perfectly fine, but for many dogs, that becomes overstimulating and they just kind of tune you out because you're the one who lives with them all day, every day. So what I want to do at the beginning is make other dogs and other people or whatever is distracting and exciting a good thing, but because they were neutral and got rewarded from me. And that helps them learn to develop more impulse control and focus. Because no matter how smart a dog is or how much working ability they have to work that part of their brain that has a feeling and is still able to handle that feeling and maintain control of their reactions. So whenever we are going to have a greeting with another dog, just ask for that moment of calm and connection, no matter how long it takes, as the starting point before any social interactions. And that helps to strengthen that ability for your dog.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Well, there you have it, Ben, your expert answer. Okay, Chris. So we have another question. Okay. And I think it's a cat question. So I'll give you the first stab at it. And then if I have anything to add, I will.
All right.
This one's from Raphael in Miami. So Raphael says, I'm thinking about adopting. Oh, nope. Back it up. Sorry.
Back it up.
Back it up. All right. This one comes from Melissa in Chicago, and Melissa says, my cat keeps meowing loudly at night, even though she's fed and healthy. What could be causing this, and how can I help her settle down?
Well, Melissa, your first issue is that you have a cat. Yeah. So, contrary to popular belief, cats are not nocturnal. I've talked about this a bunch. They're crepuscular. They're most active at
I was
dusk
going to
and
use
dawn.
that word.
It's such a good word. My little SAT word.
Crepuscular.
So if they are really, really, really active at night, like pitch black night, it may be a sign that their circadian rhythm's off, but most like indoor cats do have a bit of an off rhythm because they're not outside, they're not hunting, they're fed on a regular schedule. Some just general tips from a non-trainer, non-vet guy on a podcast who's had cats all of his life. Don't let them get used to being in your room. Make your room, and give them engagement toys and activities that they can do in their own space. Scratching post. I like to get the little cat wand and shove it into the couch cushion at night, so it kind of just stands there and they can swat at it. And there's all sorts of automated cat toys nowadays. If you have an automated feeder, a little midnight snack of dry food never killed anybody's cat and can settle them down if they're feeling really, really, really famished. Typically, cats want to eat twice a day, once at dawn, once at dusk. But they're animals and they get hungry and they're going to complain about it. And finally, if they're scratching all the time or doing the zoomies, they're not getting enough stimulation during the day. So during your waking hours, make sure you spend like a half hour playing with your cat. It's fun. They like it. You'll like it. And you'll all be better off for it.
Great advice, Chris. I like the idea of the midnight snack. And also, too, depending on what your feeding times are, you might want to push that second feeding time later, like to right before you go to bed, because after they eat, they tend to be a little bit more sleepy. But yeah, great advice, Chris. So good luck, Melissa.
Good luck, Melissa. And that brings us to the end of our show.
The tail end.
The tail end. I feel like what's it from? The Grinch, where they're like, 3 more days till Christmas. I feel like I want to do that at the end of the show. Only 3 more shopping weeks of Christmas. Get on it, folks. If you haven't finished your Christmas shopping yet, then you're like me, and that's okay.
Yeah. So, hey, if you are not already watching us on YouTube, you just missed the handsome Michael Hill. So get on YouTube and check us out. You can also find our podcast, as you know, anywhere podcasts are. I almost said sold, but wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready to sell this thing yet.
Yeah, I know, right? And you can watch us on Dog TV too. So there's no excuse. Tell your friends about us. And yeah, like Chris said, get to that shopping.
Yeah, and we'll be back next Tuesday with another amazing episode. So until then, be kind to yourself and be kind to your pets. And we'll see you in a week.
Oh, and remember, ugly Christmas sweater season is for dogs too.
Pets Add Life, your guide to the latest in pet trends, products, and the joy of the human-animal bond, with Kristen Levine and Chris Bonifati, powered by the American Pet Products Association and Dog TV.